Alrighty. Hello, everybody. This is Kirusho here, and before I do get started, I do have a few things to say. Now, before I do get right into it, I want to thank you guys for getting me to 15k. Now, what if Deku was Batman? This is a series I know some people have been wanting to get my take on, see what goes on in the universe, and see how everything might turn out. Especially because for more ideas that are DC or Marvel, I do tend to actually dive a little bit into those universes. So, with that being said, I wanted to do this one for another reason as well. Comic Storian, if you guys do know who that is, he has passed away. He's passed away in a tragic accident, and that is alarming for a lot of people because he had an impact on a lot of people's lives. I mean, I'd go to his channel for research on some stories. I'd find videos or events in comics that would be interesting, and if they're on his channel, I'd listen to them. He's had an impact on how my works for some stories have happened, and what I would change in those stories. And this one, I do want to say is to honor him, because Batman, his series on them, was probably some of the first I've watched on comics, and actually got me into comics in general. It's felt like a while, but it's definitely been some time. Yeah, I'm not really too sure what else to say. What happened wasn't good, and I do hope that his family is doing well. Anyways, since this story is to honor Comic Historian, I do hope to do the idea justice and do this story very well. Now then, with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into the story before my nerves do start to get the better of me. Okay, we will start with Izuku Midoriya, a young boy in Gotham, born to Dr. Hasashi Midoriya and Inko Midoriya. Hasashi is the head of a company, and this company, they have a major income and control and influence in Gotham. People know who they are. Izuku never had to worry about many things. He grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth and Alfred Pennyworth, the butler to his family. Now, Deku, he was already set for greatness, born into a rich family and a father who was a doctor, along with a photographic memory that allows him to remember lots of information. In this, it is quite interesting. His son could be a very good doctor. Whatever field he does go in, he would be very good at. I mean, if he does learn how to be a businessman, he can dominate the entire market, do things correctly, or barely make mistakes. Hasashi has high hopes for his son, and Izuku, he had the tragedy strike. The thing that changed his life forever. He was at the age of 7 years old whenever he saw his mother and father gunned down by a man in an alleyway. He remembers standing there, sitting there, and the image of the man, it does still sit in his mind. Joe Child killed his parents. His father tried to defend his mother. The pearls went to the ground. He was shot. And then, whenever she panicked and tried to figure out what was happening with her husband, the man shot his mother. Both of them lay there on the ground, and he was stuck there frozen. The man moved forwards and brought the gun to his head. Before sirens could be heard, and his mother grabbed the man. It caught his attention. He just sat there realizing what was going on, grabbed a wallet, and ran. He got away. Izuku was brought to the station, and he had Alfred come pick him up. He's playing the events over and over again in his mind. And police, they weren't too sure what to do. I mean, the Midoriyas are untouchable. And this action, it's going to stir the pot for a lot of people. It's a bad example for Gotham. If they can be killed just like that by some random guy, there's no telling what can happen. And this caused issues. And we do actually have at the manor, where Alfred does set a plate down on the counter for asking Izuku about exactly if he's alright. And the boy just sit there, not doing anything, looking down at the plate but not registering its existence, just trying to do what he can. His father was a good doctor. Trying to find out what's wrong with people is not that easy. It's not just trial and error, not just symptoms you have to look at and data you need to have. There's a lot more to it. Being wrong could cost someone their life. But there's no right answer to this problem in his head. Some random guy shot his mom and dad, and they were going to kill him. There is no right answer to that. And Alfred can see it. The tears beginning to well in Deku's eyes, before he is able to walk over, bringing his hand up and going to sit down a cup of tea. Before he is at turn, going to pour himself one and bring his hand onto Izuku's shoulder. Deku turning as he is to tell him that this wasn't his fault. What happened tonight was bad. What happened tonight was a tragedy. One that he must learn how to deal with. And Izuku does stare at Alfred, the man continuing, going to turn, grabbing a fry and bringing it up, telling him, right now they can do quite a lot. Tomorrow morning, they will get up, and they will leave the manor. It would be best for him to go out and do something. Keep his mind occupied. If he does stay cooped up in the house, it might drive him mad. Though Izuku, he doesn't know. He looks back down at the food, before he does stand up and walk out. Alfred staring at that before informing Izuku that he is always here if the young master does want to talk. And Deku says stop, turning to Alfred, seeing something fly past the window before he does get a turn back, walking away, heading to his own room. And the man, he does sit there worried. He's got to take care of Izuku. This is a problem, however. Turning back and grabbing his teacup. A lot of people have a lot of issues. He's now the boy's legal guardian. He doesn't want to be involved in all of this. Taking care of a child? But it might be for the best. If someone does adopt him and become his legal guardian, they could force him to sign over Midoriya Enterprises. that would be bad. They take over the company from him, and because he's not of age yet, they would get all that money, all the access to his money. And then there's also the idea that accidents can happen. I mean, someone had it out for the Midoriyas, so going after their son would only be the next logical step, especially if you're trying to wipe everybody from that family away from Gotham. And this thought does go through Alfred's mind. Him a little bit more perturbed by the idea. He has to keep Izuku safe for one simple reason. Gotham could fall into the wrong hands if someone has control of that boy. All that money and power needs to be in the right hands. And Izuku, he has a good intention, a good heart. However, we do have him. He lays there in his bed, crying, trying to just figure things out. He remembers the man's face. He remembers the revolver. He remembers the sound. And it just messes with him. He heard a bedtime story once. His mother would tell it to him whenever she was still alive. It was about the Court of Owls. It just doesn't seem right. A talon for your head. That's gotta be it, right? The man in the alleyway was some sort of assassin. Someone murdered his parents for some reason, but he just he doesn't know why that reason is. For revenge, for money, for some petty thing that was happening. The company is doing well, isn't it? This being a thing Izuku does have go through his mind. However, Alfred, he does try to help Izuku. Over the next couple of days, Deku is allowed to leave the manor. However, Alfred does accompany him with his own personal protection. Now, Deku, he's trying to put this mystery together, figure everything out. Just try to handle it. But things don't come together right. There's an owl at his house, and it just keeps showing up. It doesn't leave. It just sits there, making those sounds and taunting him. The court is real. They have to be real. Otherwise, why would it be here? And these things, they do mess with Izuku. Before he does confront Alfred about this, he has a lot in his mind. And whenever Alfred does hear Deku spout this conspiracy theory, it does have him concerned, deciding it might be best for Izuku to not be in Gotham, not be here. This place will rot his mind. Gotham's corruption finds many channels to flow through. And if it does flow through Izuku, that would be bad. The young man needs a proper place to settle, something to do to channel his mind. And Izuku, he does tell Alfred about what he wants to do, about how he does want to try and protect Gotham, try and just do anything, handle it. And the man, he does try and calm Deku down. But he's not gonna fight on this. This is something he wants to do. Either Alfred helps him out, or he goes about this his own way. And the man, he does hear this. There's a lot that Izuku could do. A lot of things that can get him into trouble. If he doesn't do this, he's going to leave a boy with billions at his disposal to try and find out the right way to do things. If he does want to help Gotham, he'll help Gotham. But he won't do this alone. And Alfred does try to tell Izuku about what he can do, about what can happen. And the man, he does get things set up. Currently, Izuku leaving to go meet with some people. And that definitely does make things a little bit more intriguing. And we do have a few years later, where currently we do have at Midoriya Enterprises, where the company shareholders are going over quite a lot of things. And people, they do sit in the meeting, talking about their latest developments and what they might be doing inside the city. And we do actually have Deku, who he does come walking down the hallway and he does go to stand there. Currently, the secretary looking up from their desk and seeing a man with slicked back hair and a suit, asking exactly if he has an appointment today. Yes. I was actually hoping to speak with the board of directors. I heard that they had a meeting today, and that they were all in. Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I do need to see some ID. Are you with the board of directors, or did you have a meeting scheduled? Deku's staying there. Before she does continue on, it's for security reasons. Of course, I do understand. Uh, yes, here you go. Him handing it over with two fingers, leaning in a little bit, talking about it. You know, it does seem a little ridiculous. Really now, does it? Her looking at the identification. Before Deku does express. Yes, it is. His name is on the side of the building. And she does a stare down, looking at Izuku Midoriya's identification. Her looking back up. You're Mr. Midoriya? Mr. Midoriya was my father. You, however, him holding his hand out, can call me Izuku. Mr. Midoriya. Her handing back his ID and going to stand, somewhat trying to fix her hair. Talking about it. The board is in today. Does he need anything? Coffee, water, snack potentially? No, it's all right. I'm gonna go now. Yes, sir. Have a good day. Her turning back to her work, a lot more concerned since she feels like she might have made an ass of herself in front of her boss. And Deku does go walking down the hallway before he's to open the door and people do see him. Currently, him stepping in and walking over. Someone asking exactly if there's a reason why he's interrupting this meeting. There's a number, yes. You see, my family's been a little hands off whenever it does come to the managing of the company. Yes, Mr. Midoriya, that is true. However, is there a reason why you're here? Yes, actually, there is. You see, I was hoping to become a little bit more involved, talk a little bit more with the shareholders, and see about projects. You do understand. Yes, Mr. Midoriya, we do understand. However, do you believe that you're fit to do that? Excuse me? Yes, I'm aware that you might not know a lot about it, but our company, your company, we have a lot of cutting edge projects on the table at the moment. We would really not like for you to get involved and potentially mess with certain things. I see. Well then, Need to remind you of exactly who I am? Like I said before, my family does own the majority of shares in this company, which means as long as that is the case, then I do have a majority vote, don't I? I could buy them back, see about how that might work. Mr. Midoriya, you're wishing to do a hostile takeover of your own company? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like my father, who, God rest his soul, as well as my mother, well, they've both passed. I do want to at least try and have discretion and a little bit of sway over what's going on. I'm hoping that we can make Gotham a better place, but with how much things have fallen behind, I do believe that might be a little bit more challenging. I see. So, you want to become more involved with the board? Yes, I do. Now, I am a bit more aware that I've been away from Gotham for a few years, and I might not exactly know my home like the back of my hand, but I'm hoping that we can all work together. Now, I understand. Young guy like me, I might not know anything. I am still at the start of my 20s, and all of you are experienced. You've been in this work longer than I've been alive. I don't mean any disrespect, but we do need at least someone who does have an idea and a vision for moving forwards. I hope to provide that for the company, and potentially see about furthering and actually putting more time and money into the company, developing more cutting edge technology, and hopefully bettering things overall and around. Now, I was curious about speaking to someone in our R&D position, seeing a bit more about that. Maybe our technical supervisors? There's a number of people I do wish to speak with, seeing about interesting technological developments. Really, Mr. Midoriya. Yes, I was also hoping to talk to medical, see about more things going on there. These departments, I feel like they could help change the future. Could you imagine it? A better world overall? Brought to you by Midoriya Enterprises. People looking around, and some of them, they do see the position they're in. He's talking about either buying back his company to try and manage it better, do more interesting things with it, or he's talking about letting him be more involved with the board. He's young, ambitious, and he's trying to be a little bit more cutthroat and suave, almost a bit like his father. Give them an ultimatum, under the guise of a friendly conversation. Quite the interesting little business tactic. And some people do begin to vote on it. They do talk about having Izuku come into these meetings to see a bit more about what's going on. And we do actually have later where Deku, he does sit there trying to think of a lot. Currently, him on a rooftop, wearing the bat suit, thinking about a number of things, about what to do. Izuku Midoriya has made his return to Gotham. He's been in town for a little bit of time, but somebody who's been in town a little bit longer. Someone who's been around for a few days, in fact. They do come out again tonight. And the Batman does stand there on a rooftop. Currently, Deku standing there tall. Him looking out to see what's going on before he's a turn and go to jump, making his way from the rooftop he's currently on to another one. Gonna run across and then leap up into the air. Going to see crime currently in pursuit. And the men staying there, they do go to turn. one running down the road before there actually is Zuko, who does go to see that. Him going to bring his hand up and grab his batarang before he is to throw it through the air and it's sent flying, currently smashing the person's leg as it gets sent tumbling to the ground and smashing down. Deku going to stand there before the person they do go to scream out, their friend turning and running over. Before Deku does it a leap down, the person going to run over and see this knife in their friend's leg, concerned about that. Before the person is to turn their head and see this guy in a Halloween costume. The one with the gun turning back to see him, as Deku does go to bring his hand up, them holding their weapon before a batarang is sent flying out. It smashing their shoulders, the gun is to go off. Deku turning and dodging out of the way of the bullet. Before he does go move forwards, the person going to try and bring the gun back up with the weapon still embedded inside their body. And Deku, he does it to rush them, bring his hand up and smash them directly into the wall, bring his hand out and punch them across the face. Before he's to turn and grab the weapon, tossing it to the ground and begin to pummel this person. And they are taken out. Currently, the next day, it's being reported about another sighting of a masked man. Another sighting of who people are now claiming to be this bat-like figure. There's not much to go on. However, the individuals that Batman, as people have been naming him, have caught last night, they are currently being given medical attention for their injuries. And we do have Izuku. He does sit here in the Batcave, still getting everything set up. It's going to take a minute, but once everything's all proper and done, it should be good. Him pressing a button before looking up and seeing the bat signal going off. And this, it does make Deku feel a little bit better before pressing the button to disable it, resetting it, and then trying to sit here, thinking about a lot. Batman. Batman. Yes. That is work. The symbol for his fear has turned into what he is. But how to manage Gotham? How to handle it? Go about everything? Yes. He has to be prepared. He already has his code. But what more could he do? Izuku Midoriya is a man. Batman can't be that. Disconnected from emotion, disconnected from fear, embracing it and using it as his tool. That is what his mentors have taught him. That is what he needs to remember. But he has to be prepared. Smoke bombs, I still need to get those fabricated. But what else? More tools, more items for his kit. Yes, definitely that. And a grappling hook. That will definitely be needed. Okay. Typing it into the computer. And Lucius Fox does get a pop-up. As right now, he is going through the database for Midoriya Enterprises. Currently also beginning to try and think of a few more tools and gadgets he might need. Under the guise of a military project. That could definitely work. Or under the guise of, no, that one won't. Okay. Scenarios, ideas, ways everything will play out. He's got to be prepared. Got to be ready. Gotham is a cutthroat city. One wrong move and he could have his head blown off. He's got to be prepared for any and everything. And that is what he's doing. Deku typing away scenarios he can think of in his head, trying to go over every little detail. And Alfred, he currently is upstairs, preparing food for Izuku, still unsure about his little venture in the latest couple of days. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and I do hope you will stick around to see how this one might turn out, as I do have a lot of things planned for this series.